So, good morning to all of you, and I welcome you to the world of textiles. Okay, we have seen that physical terms used, and now we will see what are the terms that are being used to show their thermal properties and also their biological properties. Thermal properties means they are related to heat. Properties related to heat are called the thermal properties. In this, you can say that heat sensitivity, we will say that heat sensitivity. That means that when you take it near the flame or so, and the fiber will be melting back. So, it is also called as a thermoplasticity. So, all these kind of artificial fibers such as nylon, polyester, acrylic, and all these things are heat sensitive, or when you take it near the flame, they turn back, and then they don't usually they don't take up that fire. Flammability is very less, but you can see that they melt and come away from the flame. So, they are all heat sensitive fabrics, and that is why when you are ironing them, you have to use very low temperatures, and they do not require much of ironing, but now and then you can just iron, and but that ironing temperature is going to be very low when compared to these things. Maybe when you observe your iron, you find that nylon, polyesters, they have very least temperature when compared to cotton and other things. That is because of this thermoplasticity, and the fibers they become plastic when you use more heat. And also heat conductivity. So, heat conductivity means when you are wearing some material, okay, some fabric, heat is being produced continuously by our body, okay, and if the heat is being transported into the atmosphere, you feel comfortable. Otherwise, what will happen? You feel very hot and you can't stay in this particular place. And so, the particular fabric which is used for the apparels should contain this quality of heat conductivity. You should be able to conduct away the heat that is being produced in the fabric and then to the other areas, so that the wearer will feel very comfortable. Actually, comfort means there are two things in this. One is the absorbency, and another one is that is hydrophilic fiber and heat conductivity. If these two are there, and definitely the wearer will feel comfortable. And another term is used, flammability. The fibers like a cotton and all, when you take it near the flame, definitely they take up the fire and then they burn. That is called flammability. And say for fibers like wool and silk, like the protein fibers, animal fibers, when you take it near the flame, usually they do not take up much fire easily, and but after some time they will take it, and but they are self extinguished. After you remove from the flame, that it will the fire is put off. And whereas in cotton, if you take out from the fire also, it starts continue burning. So, that is the thing in between these two, and it is called as the flammable fabrics, right. And coming to the biological properties. Biological properties means that we are in a atmosphere with a lot of bacteria around us, and lot of fungus, and lot of microorganisms, and all those things are around us. And so, whether the fabric has resistance towards that or not, we should know. So, we call it as sunlight, for example. When you have a sunlight, biological means we have a sunlight, and we have resistance to microorganisms, resistance to moths, because moths also will spoil the fabrics usually. And so, we have to see whether the fabrics are going to be resistant to moths or not. So, all these things come together, and we call them as the biological properties. This is to do with some other body. And one thing is the milieu resistance. Milieu resistance means when you leave it in the especially in the bath areas, when you leave the fabrics for a long time, what happens, the moisture that is present over there, and it will allow the molds to develop on that. And so, you find a spitty appearance, black spots on the fabric, and that shows that it is being affected by the milieu, and the fabric gets definitely disintegrated at that particular point, and you have the problem with these things. Okay. And also one more thing is resistance to microorganisms. So, this should be there, and some things like some of the fabrics have as it is, or sometimes when they are dyed with natural dyes, maybe for example, and they will have better resistance to microbes, and whereas with the synthetic one it will not be there, right. And these only natural fibers are going to have this problem, whereas you have polyesters and all artificial fibers like synthetic fibers will not have this problem at all. Even if you leave it for some time, usually or generally the particular mold will not develop on these materials. But microorganisms, yes, bacteria and all will develop, but not as much as in case of cotton, right. And so these are the things which are important. And also when you are taking care of these fabrics, like chemical resistance of these fabrics is very, very important. When you are washing it with a different detergents that are available in the market, and some are some fabrics are very sensitive to alkalis, like we have silk and wool. You cannot use alkali soaps, whereas cotton, jute or banana or linen and all, you can use highly alkaline fabrics, the alkaline soaps. There is no problem at all for this. Okay, so chemical nature of the fabric is important, and chemical sensitivity of the fabric is very, very important here, and that is because you have to maintain the fabrics also, not only by selecting it, you have to maintain the fabrics. So these are some of the terms. And soluble, sometimes solubility also is one factor that is being taken into consideration, and the solubility means a fiber will be able to dissolve in a particular solution. So each fiber will have a some solution wherein they will be able to dissolve, and so those are important for identifying the fiber, whether it belongs to this group or not. We will be able to identify once we know the solubility of these fabrics. So these are some of the terms that are very, very important. I think you understand some of these, and so when you go to the market, it will be easier for you to understand that particular and appreciate the fabric which is there, and then you will be able to make a good selection, and the selection is going to be very satisfactory to all of you. Number of textiles are available in the market, and each day in its wake brings about so many fabrics, so many varieties into the market, and the consumer is now confused, how to select these materials. And if you have 50 years back, that situation, and you find that there were only very few fabrics that were available to the consumers, and consumers had no choice, they had to buy those materials only for different end uses. But now, because the consumer is now educated so much, and also that export and imports have become very easy, and we are getting number of fabrics even from the other countries here, and so we should be able to know what kind of fabrics, what kind of fibers that are present, so that we can make an intelligent decision, and also we select the fabric for our particular end use. And when you take these different types of fabrics or different types of brands into consideration, but they are all made by using only few fibers. Like you have, the textile fibers can be classified into, 3 groups. One is that the natural fibers. Natural fibers means these fibers are already available in fiber form in nature. So we need not do anything to it. Only thing is that the fibers need to be taken, they may be cleaned, and they may be spun into yarns, and the yarns may be produced in the form of fabrics and may be finished, and you get a consumer goods out of this. But whereas different types of other fibers which are available existing in the market, they are not available in fiber form in nature. Like you have another category, a second category is the man-made fiber. So man-made fibers means these are the fibers that are being made by man, but here the raw material is taken from the nature. So raw material is existing in the nature, but only thing is that it is processed, and by adding chemicals and all, and sometimes it is reproduced again, like cellulose is there, it is reproduced as a cellulose, and then we are able to get the fibers from it. So they are called as a man-made category of fibers. And there is another third category that is present, that is called synthetic fibers. Synthetic fibers means it is not available, the raw material is not available, the fiber is also not available in nature, but we take the some chemical elements like hydrogen, we have carbon, nitrogen and oxygen, all these things are put together, and then we are able to build and we are able to synthesize some of the polymers. We call them as polymers, a complex structure, and this complex structure will have will be used for making the fibers, and some of these things again differ. In this also things will differ, how much length is there in the polymer length and all, they differ. But all these fibers are not existing, either the raw material is not existing, either fiber is also not existing, but we are able to synthesize it by use of chemicals. And so these are the 3 categories of the fibers that are available. So when we take first the natural fibers. So natural fibers, what are the natural fibers that are available in the market? Maybe cotton, cotton textiles, and we have jute textiles, and we have linen textiles, and we have banana textiles too. They are also available in the market nowadays. And so, when you take these materials, what kind of properties it has? Natural fibers, again we have silk, we have wool and all. Again, when you take the properties of cotton, it is different from the properties of silk, properties of the wool, and also some other fiber, linen and jute. So, the properties are different, and so based on again the chemical nature of these fibers, we again divide them into three groups again. One is cellulosic fibers, like we talked about cotton, linen, jute and banana fiber. Okay. So, these are the fibers that come under cellulosic groups. That means that cellulose means it contains the cellulose, the fiber contains the cellulose. So, they are called as the cellulosic fibers. And whereas another group of things like silk and wool we take, they are called as protein fibers. They are of animal origin, and their wool is taken from the sheep, and by shearing the hair on the skin. And even if you take this silk, silk is drawn from the cocoons. Cocoon is nothing but a pupa of the silk moth, right? From there we will be able to draw it. And so, this is a protein in nature, and the other one is cellulosic. So, these are called as the protein fibers. Cellulosic fibers, protein fibers. And when you take another one, that is from the rocks also, we will be able to take up some kind of fiber. Fiber is short, but that fiber is going to be very, very strong, like asbestos. Asbestos is the only natural mineral fiber available in the universe. So, these are the three types again. The first one is cellulosic fibers, protein fibers and mineral fibers. So, under natural category. And so, when you take cellulosic fibers, they have few properties, like you can take them, and these textiles show good absorbency, good heat conductivity. Even take care, maintenance is easier with these things, because they get soiled, there is no problem, but they will also leave the dirt, and you can boil them, nothing will happen. And so, taking care of even any kind of friction you can use in order to remove that kind of dirt that is present on the material. Okay. So, cellulosic fabrics are very comfortable to wear, mainly they are very, very comfortable to wear, and also they are flammable, but you have to take care, the flammability is there. And so, whenever you are selecting fabrics for small children and all, you have to take care of these things. And then coming to the protein nature, like silk and wool, wool is taken, wool and silk also differ, even though the protein, the fiber is of protein, like keratin and like fibroin in case of silk, the protein in wool is called keratin. Okay. So, these two have different amino acids and all those things, so they differ chemically, and so you find that there are differences in the properties too. But mainly these fabrics are having similar properties, like they can be used for giving warmth, right, and also they can also absorb lot of water, and wool is having the maximum absorbency when compared to other fabrics. But because of this warmthness, and also warmthness means when it does not conduct away the whole heat, then it becomes warmer when you wear it. And so, that is another thing, that is why these fabrics are used during the winter season. Even silk and all, they are used during the winter season, and you feel very warm while wearing this, and they are comfortable during the season. And so, fibers differ, even though they differ, you should be able to select them in such a way that they are taken to our advantage. Okay. So, winter clothing means you have to go for either wool or silk invariably. And then, and also one thing you have to remember is that these protein fibers will be damaged by alkalis, and so the soaps that are going to be used on these things should be mild, always mild soaps, or you have liquid soaps that are available which are very mild, those soaps can be used, or detergents can be used on these materials. So, nothing will happen to this, but whereas on cotton and all, you can use any kind of things, and whereas cellulosics are damaged by acids, whereas these things are damaged by protein fibers, are damaged by alkalis. So, that part of it you should remember when you are taking care of the fabrics, these fabrics. And then coming to the mineral fiber is only asbestos. It is being used as a highly fire retardant, okay, and also very strong, and so it can be used without any problem for making the curtains near the fire, okay, and even anywhere, and also waterproof. The material is waterproof, and mostly it is used for making the sheets and all for houses and all, but this is also used in form of curtains near the showers and near the fire and all. They use these curtains. So these are the all together 3 kinds of natural fibers that are present in the market. Coming to the man-made fibers, and man-made fibers we have again different categories again. Man-made fibers, I told you that these fibers are not available in fiber form in nature, but the raw material is taken from the nature and it is being processed, and then finally we will get the fiber out of this. Examples are, you have viscose rayon. This is also called as artificial silk. So this one is taken from the wood chips. Wood chips or wood is taken, and like eucalyptus and all the other type of wood, and it is made in the form of a small chips. So the wooden chips are made into solution form, and solution form you will get the purified cellulose out of it, and then finally this is allowed to pass through a spinneret, a dollar shaped one, and this has a very fine holes, very fine holes will be present, and the solution is forced through that, and then the fiber comes out of it. And in case of rayon, it goes into a medium, water medium, and containing little acidic medium, and the fiber is being coagulated, and so you will get a artificial fiber out of it. So rayon is a cellulosic again, okay, and that is why we have another category here, cellulosic, man-made cellulosic. Okay. Man-made again you have protein like milk protein, soya protein or corn meal. Okay. From this the protein is taken, and then like this, like artificial, the protein is taken and being processed by adding chemicals to it, and then again it is regenerated, the protein, and then it will be in the form of a solution, and then again you will be getting it in through the spinneret, the fibers are being formed. So we have in case of man-made textiles, again we have cellulosic man-made and we have protein man-made, and sometimes mineral one also, like gold and silver and aluminum and all these things. They are made into very hair like wires, and then they are being flattened, and then they are wound around some of the silk threads, and they are used as a zari, that zari. So zari is also a man-made one, and because the raw material is available but not in the fiber form, it is made in a yarn form here, and so it may be taken as a one more thing here. And then coming to all this when you take all these fibers into consideration, they have similar properties, like even though cellulosic and cellulose both are contain cellulose, cotton and rayon, but rayons will have high luster when compared to these things, because the cross sectional shape of the fiber is smooth and contains streaks, and which will have more of light reflectance, and thus it becomes very lustrous. Usually what they do is they add some kind of materials like titanium dioxide and all in order to bring down the luster of these fibers. Okay. And when you take rayon, which is a cellulosic, again the same properties that are being seen with the natural fiber will do exist, like they are sensitive to acids, okay, and but you can't use that much of friction that you use on cottons. They are all delicate fabrics, you cannot use friction because they lose strength when they are wet. Most of the fabrics will lose strength when they are wet, and so you have to take care of them very delicately. And so these are the mostly rayon will lose lot of strength, and so one has to take care of this fabric during when washing. And the even protein, Aslon and all those things, they will not have the same properties of the protein fibers, natural proteins, but still some of the properties, like they are sensitive to alkalis, that is there, and but they will be able to resist little bit acids and all, and so taking care of them during the care that is during laundering is very important for these fabrics, and but still they also maintain the warmth like the other things. So mineral zari and all, that is, there may not be a problem because it is used for ornamental purpose on the fabrics, and so they do not have anything, but one needs to take care of these the zari that is present on the fabric, and because it becomes black usually, and so you have to use the kind of a detergent which is neither alkali nor acidic, neutral one. You should be able to use it so that it maintains its color and its shine, and because it's silver and gold and aluminum, so it will be able to do it. And then coming to the synthetic fabrics. Synthetics means they are all totally synthesized from chemicals, and you have again different things in this. All synthetic fibers are thermoplastic, you should remember, and they have the similar properties. They are all thermoplastic, that is one thing, and they are all stronger when compared to the natural and man-made fibers. Okay, and also the elasticity is better than all the other fibers. The synthetic fabrics, whatever it may be, either polyester or nylon, and we have different things again in this, but they have that strength is more, and also it is possible to change their cross sectional shape, because the spinneret which is there, and through that we will force the liquid through, and the shape of the spinneret, that hole in the spinneret can be changed, like we can make them into triangle shape or serrated shapes and all, depending upon the end use again. And say for these functional fabrics that are available in the market today, because we are not going to use many fabrics on the body. If I want to feel warm, I should not wear too many garments. If it is in ordinary places, it's okay, but when you are going into the very snowy places and all, where the temperatures are very low, in that case we can't wear so many layers of dresses. So the fabrics are coming in the market in such a way that they are built up with that kind of warmth, giving more than the warmth that is being required in low temperature, not very low temperatures, medium temperatures and all. So that kind of fabrics are available in the market, and so people are engineering, they are called as engineering fabrics. So all these engineering fabrics are being made with the use of synthetic fabrics, okay, synthetic fiber. So synthetic fiber can be changed and can have lustrous or not lustrous, dull and medium luster, or it can be having different kinds of cross sectional shapes. And so when you have like a triangle, and when you are putting two fibers together, then the triangle will have a kind of space in between. Okay, that space is required in order to produce warmth in the fabrics. So like that, engineered fabrics are coming up in the market, and they can have also higher strength, lower strength. They can also produce fabrics with a higher strength. So there is a possibility of doing all these things in the case of synthetic fibers. When you take in synthetic fibers itself, one is a polyamide fiber. There are polyamides depending upon what kind of elements are present in that polymer. It gives like a polyamide, polyester, olefin fibers, and spandex fibers. And there are many complex classifications are there, and even the fabrics are available in the market. But as an ordinary a consumer, you should at least know a polyamide, that is example is nylon. Okay, it is a very strong fiber, very strong, and it is its strength can be compared to a steel wire of the same denier and this one. So nylon is a very strong fiber, and that's why it is moving towards industry today, and all the tires and other things are made with nylon. And whereas polyester may not be that much stronger. Polyester, it is esterification, ester being polymerized, amide being polymerized in the case of polyamide, and here polyester is esters being polymerized. Okay, and for example is, we call it as a terling, or we call it as a diacron also, and we call it as polyester here. Okay, in India we call it as a polyester, and diacron and terling are all from the UK and USA. They call these fabrics like that. The name of the fiber is that. And then we have olefin fiber. Olefin means polyethylene. Polyethylene fibers are also available. Okay, and polyethylene or polypropylene. Polypropylene means all carpets are being made in polypropylene. Polypropylene is a very light material, and which is used, and it has a very good loft, so that even if you compress, it comes back to its position, its shape, and that's why that is a polypropylene. Poly is an example is polypropylene material, and the end use is the carpet mainly. And polyethylene is made to make the sacks and all for transportation and all, that is being used. And but nowadays they are also using some of these things in order to make functional garments, functional textiles. And otherwise, in ordinary textiles, olefin fibers are not used. The specialty of olefin fiber is that it is very light in weight and it floats on the water. Okay. Whenever there is something to do with the light fabrics, even aircrafts and all, they use this kind of materials. Nylon is being used, and earlier silk used to be used before the invention of these things by people in western countries. They used only the silk as a very strong material for even for aircrafts. Okay. So we have seen now that the different fibers that are available in the market. Okay. And but one thing happens, that the fabrics available in the market also contain a proportion of one fiber and the other fiber. In the yarn itself, there are two fibers. One is maybe cotton and the other one may be nylon or polyester, okay, or rayon or something, or sometimes even three fibers are available in the together in one yarn. So those fabrics are called blended fabrics. Okay, blended fabrics have some advantages, like polyester has very good strength, whereas cotton has absorbency and heat conductivity. So when these two are combined, and polyester contributes to strength and cotton contributes to absorbency and heat conductivity, so that the wearer will have both the advantages of both the fibers. And so the fabrics, if they are available, definitely you can purchase these things. And in the same way, you have rayon, you have polyester, and you have cotton. Suitings are being made with rayon also. Rayon has that kind of pliability that is very, very important. When combined, when these two are combined, when the polyester and cotton are combined, rayon also will contribute to a lot of the pliability and other things over there. And so they feel comfortable to when rayon is there in this one. And linen is also being used in suiting materials and all. And so when you know that these fibers are being used, and when you study the properties of all these fibers, then you will be able to buy it. And for example, silk, when silk is there, it is going to be very costly. When linen is there, it is going to be costly. Even 5% of linen is going to be costly. And so when the salesmen tell you that this is the price of this is this much and price of this is this much, then you will be able to make your own selection. Okay. So because it has silk, yes, maybe we have to spend some more money in order to get that. So to get an idea about these things, about the consumer should have this knowledge of textiles. It is essential to all of you that whenever you buy the material, and you should get the satisfaction to the worth of your the worth of money that you spend on these fabrics.
Good afternoon, ma'am. I have this question for you. Nowadays, when we go to the market, every other seller claims that the fabric that is selling, especially if it's of cotton, it's 100% pure. But we nevertheless have an idea it's not. So, as cautious customers, how do we know for a fact?
Okay, cotton material actually has become very costly nowadays, and that's why some of these polyesters also being sold as cotton. So even the shopkeepers, even if we say that that it is, they always say that it is only 100% cotton, they don't agree that it is polyester. Only one thing that you can do is that you can take out few yarns from it and try to burn them outside the shop, and then you will be able to see if it burns very well and it continues to burn, and also if the ash remains after burning, then definitely it is cotton. If it is not so, what will happen? If it is polyester, then you find that it becomes like a bead, it beads on the surface, and it doesn't get burnt in such a way that it will not, you won't get anything else like ash and all. So by that you will be able to identify it.
Thank you, ma'am.
Okay.
I'm Vivek, and my question is, what are the basic maintenance of fabric which we use in our homes?
Okay, fabrics, as I told you that there are different types. Like cotton you have like silks, and say you have rayons and again synthetic fabrics, all those things are there. So if you take cotton, again we need to basically one procedure you can follow. One thing is that you try to separate them, colored and also white ones. And if there are any mending is to be done, if there are any holes or anything, any problems, you mend it first, and then you just steep them if it is cotton. If it is not cotton, then there is no need for steeping. Okay, and the detergents that you take for cotton should be any kind of detergent you can take, like any surf, any kind of powders that you available in the market. You can use detergents, and then you can just wash it, and even that kind of friction is okay. When you are washing it, you can subject it to friction, no problem at all for those things. And then after washing, you should rinse it 2 to 3 times. 3 times at least is better, so that the soap will not remain in the
with the plain
fabric.
water.
Yeah, with plain water, and then it can be hung onto the clothes line. There is no problem with the cotton. And whereas when you talk about this silk and wool, then again there is a problem, and you cannot use all kinds of detergents. You have to use only mild detergents, like liquid detergents and all are available. Yeah. Yes, and also the thing is that wool should not be actually hung on to the clothes line. You know, it will lose shape easily because it is in moisture content is there in the fabric, and so it will lose its shape. So you have to be careful in doing these things. You have to take the say sweater and all, if you are doing it, you have to take the shape, and then after washing you have to put it, because wool is going to shrink a lot, and so you have to take it to that level and then shape, and then you can just dry it flat. But synthetic fibers and all, ordinary detergents available in the market, nothing will happen to them, and then you can hang it or do whatever you want, you can do it, and but not much friction is not required, because they will not take up the soil so much, and so easy removal of the soil is also very easy. Just washing with the hand, kneading with the hand is enough in order to remove it. And so when you are using a washing machine, don't use washing machine for silks and woolen materials. The rest of the materials can be washed in the washing machine without any problem.
Thank you, ma'am.